Normally, you guys all get a chance to talk football with coaches, and hopefully this will be a chance to expand on that and spend some time with Ozzie Newsome and Steve Bisciotti and Dick Cass and fire away. Don't treat me nicer than you treat me, but it's good. We've had a good off-season start. We just got out of two days of really in-depth meetings with our scouts and coaches and kind of organizing our plan for the next couple months as we head into this off-season. It's been very productive, and it's been very honest, and I think guys have done a great job. So with that, we'll turn it over. Oh, let me start with those guys. Two new coaches that we've had the privilege of inviting aboard, and they've decided to join us. Guys that we've known for various lengths of years but have tremendous respect for. To me, premier coaches in the National Football League to replace two coaches that left who did a great job for us as well and are moving on to other things. But Jim Zorn, our new quarterbacks coach right here, if you could welcome Jim. And Dean Pease, our new linebackers coach. Okay.
All right, Joe, you're up.
For any of you gentlemen, with all the talk about CBA, the uncapped year, and all the issues that surround it, how is that going to hamstring your efforts to get this team better as quickly as you can?
We're having a meeting down in Fort Lauderdale to get an update on the CBA on Saturday. As you know, we've agreed as a league to let Roger do any of the talking with the press. As far as us personally, we kind of went into it assuming that we would probably go uncapped here. We were in a situation that I think we probably have more restricted free agents than just about any team, right? And we're close to 10 or something like that. So, even though we hit that final 8 in this deal, it's not going to hamper us that much because we have 10 guys that we don't have to worry about like we would have. So our roster is going to stay pretty much intact, and I don't really see it. I don't see it hampering us in our ability to do things. I'm pretty confident that we've got a budget that we're going to spend up to. We will spend as much as most of the teams, if not all of them, and we've kind of got that budget already in place and already know, most of the names where we're filling in.
The big topic, of course, is how to improve the team, especially at wide receiver. I think that's where fans are concentrated on. Steve and Ozzie, like you said, you have the restricted free agents, but your ability to improve by bringing in guys, how is it going to make it tougher to improve the wide receiver position by the new rules?
No, not necessarily, because our past history is we can acquire players. I mean, I think in that this is an uncapped year, there will be some real good players that are going to get cut. And we've had good success with Derek Mason, Trevor Price, Samari Rowe, guys that got cut because of the salary cap situation that particular team was in. So I think that's going to increase our pool of players. I think in that there's a large number of restricted the restricted pool is larger than normally. I think there's going to be some movement there also. And then, we've built this team through the draft, and that's another area. And then you get after the draft, then that allows for another group of players to get pushed out. So when you look at all three of those phases, then there's an opportunity for us to improve our position in several different positions, as well as wide receiver.
For Steve and Ozzie, you guys have been to the AFC Championship game, you've been to the AFC Divisional Round. In your opinion, what will it take for you guys to become a Super Bowl team? Specifically, what areas do you think you guys can continue to upgrade and get better at?
I think a lot of it's focused on Joe. I don't think there's any doubt that that he's the key to any kind of growth in the system. I think that to some degree he was maligned a little bit for not making a bigger step, but I think that what he did in his first year kind of set some unrealistic expectations, and roster stuff, that's really not my gig, but I do know that there's a lot of attention on Joe, and Joe just looks like the kind of guy that's ready to do what he has to do to get better. And if we pushed him out of his box a little bit this year, and that might have been the perception, then maybe some shortcomings showed up that didn't show up in his first year because we were not asking that much of him. So I think this next year it's time for him to do the things that we know he's capable of doing.
Well, and to add to that is I think it begins with me, it begins with John, it begins with the other scouts, it begins with the coaches, and that'll filter down to the players. I think anytime you enter a new season, you have to go in saying, we got to get better. I mean, our 53-man roster has to be better, and the players that are on that roster got to be better players. The good part of that, we got some young players, and those young players are ascending, and they should be better players. So when you add that to what Steve talked about with Joe, and with us knowing that we are going to add some pieces to the puzzle, then that should help us to. And as I finished up the meeting an hour ago with the staff, is our goal is not to be having this press conference here today, but to be having it in Dallas next year. That's the ultimate goal.